Today we are here in the small town called Lewisburg in the state of Pennsylvania to meet one of our oldest clients, Firpta Solutions, Inc. Ron St. Clair is the CPA and managing partner at the firm. Firpta Solutions have their expertise in international taxation and have hired 4 permanent full-time remote staff from Entigrity and has a workforce of 20 in-office employees handling staff as well, managing over 4,000 clients globally. Ron has shared his experience about how he got associated with Entigrity and his experience of working with remote staff so far. He also comments about his visit to our India office, but most importantly, he will share his perspective on why remote staffing is a much better solution for small and mid-sized accounting firms rather than outsourcing.
I'm Ron St. Clair. I'm a CPA. We have a CPA firm that specializes in international taxation and also in providing services to non-resident aliens who purchase real property in the United States and structuring those transactions and filing the tax withholding and reduced withholding certificates. We've been in practice for about 20 years. We have offices in Pennsylvania and Florida, and our goal is to minimize the U.S. taxation for international clients as well as domestic clients, and help them build wealth and provide them with more of a stress-free experience in investing in the United States. We met at the International Tax Conference in Miami, and during a coffee break I was walking around the different booths, and I saw your booth, and I was struck by the fact that you seem to be offering to CPA firms in the U.S. actual staffing. You were not the typical service bureau approach. You actually provided U.S. firms with trained accounting staff, and not only trained, but trained in U.S. tax law and preparation. Most of your folks have worked for CPA firms in the United States, so they have a good understanding of the U.S. tax code and the different software applications that we use to prepare U.S. tax returns, including state income tax returns. So I was very intrigued by this idea because we have a firm that's growing very rapidly, and my major concern was how am I going to scale up the staffing to keep up with the demand for our Firpta services. And Firpta, of course, is the Foreign Investment and Real Property Tax Act, and it primarily caters to the international client investor who's purchasing real estate in the United States. So it's a niche business. We're not the traditional. I explained to you that we're not the traditional accounting firm. We're different. We have a large international practice and domestic practice, but we specialize in international taxation. So when I understood that you were offering me trained, experienced CPA staff, trained in U.S. tax law, then they were my staff. They worked for me only, no other accounting firm. I was just intrigued by this, and so then, as you know, we met after the show in my office about a week later, and you further explained to me how you provide these services, and of course I was all excited. I wanted to hire 5 people right away, and I could see a structure where I could take 5 experienced people, train them the way I needed them to be trained, and put 5 people underneath each one of those, and I could scale this. I could scale up to meet the demand of the growth of the Firpta Solutions Company. But of course, you properly counseled me and said, no, you can't do it that way. Let's start with one heavy tax manager, staff member, and because we had to integrate the workflow. You had to synchronize the staff and the office operations. We needed to make this as paperless as possible and get the remote staff coordinated with the domestic staff here in the United States. So we worked real hard on that. We worked during the whole tax season and worked a lot of those issues out, and it worked very well. We're very happy with the results. In fact, we're up to 4 people now working remote. They're totally integrated to our U.S. operations and with our U.S. staff. They interact with our U.S. accounting personnel. Our U.S. accounting personnel assigns the work to our remote staff, and while we're sleeping, these folks are getting our work done, and it's back to our U.S. staff in the morning. It's amazing. It's worked out very well. So we're quite happy with the results, and we look forward to expanding the relationship in the future. Yes, as you know, we CPAs are, I guess, by nature skeptical, and I think it comes from those of us who were also auditors in our past, in addition to being tax practitioners. But I wanted to get under the covers and see what was the operation behind the staff, the provision of these staff members. I wanted to understand and see what was the support, what was the security involved. And so I went to meet with, I went to visit their offices in Long Island, New York, and met Mike and Ted. We had a worthwhile visit, but and I was satisfied. But with the expansion that we were undertaking, I wanted to go to India and see the operation in India, because that's the place from which these staff people are providing their services. I wanted to look at the security there as well. So we flew to India. I took 2 senior staff members with me, and we visited the Entigrity offices in India. We found them to be very secure. Of course, when we entered the offices, we had to have identification tags. The doors were locked. We had to be buzzed through into each of the workspaces. And I was impressed and somewhat surprised by the fact that the employees were not allowed to have any phones or iPads or iPod, any kind of communication devices. They really pretty much had to go into their workspaces without anything other than their their normal things. But there were closed circuit cameras throughout the workspace. The workspaces themselves were really rather stark. As a matter of fact, there were a desk, chair, and a computer, a keyboard, and a monitor, and everybody was quite busy. So I felt that the operation in India was secure, that my information would be held in confidence, and I felt I left that visit in India with the good feeling that hey, Entigrity is as safe as a bank and secure as a bank. Yes, I would, and for the same reason that I selected Entigrity. Outsourcing doesn't work for me. I want the opportunity to select my staff. I want to choose the person that fits my firm from the staffing pool. This way I get the accuracy and the consistency of the same person doing my work the way I want it done and under my direction, and then I also benefit from the learning curve. As the staff person learns more, I get the benefit of that increased skill and knowledge. So I'm very happy with this relationship. It's what I'm looking for. Again, as I said, outsourcing doesn't work for me. That's not what I wanted. I wouldn't even be doing this if this were outsourcing. the staffing is the proper approach for me. So yes, I would recommend Entigrity to other accounting firms. I actually already have, and you know, I look forward to expanding this relationship in the future. It's worked out very well for me.